And it's not. Cool. There we go. Now my mic's actually connected. Well, what's going on, people? Yeah, for right now, it's just you in chat. I also haven't, like, actually promoted the stream yet, so I should probably be doing that. But hopefully, we can enjoy some stuff in the meantime. I'm gonna turn on some music, by the way. Oh, that's the wrong thing. There we go. Hopefully it's not, like, ridiculously loud, by the way. What's up, people? For right now, I just have some sly music going on in the background. I need to add more music to this playlist, but, like, at the same time, I also don't stream that much, so... But we'll get started in a bit. But right now, I'm just promoting out the stream. What song is this? It is the Paris theme from Sly 2. But yeah, it's not just you now. Like, there were like a couple of other people here, but no one was really chatting until you got here. That was too loud? Hold up. Okay, hopefully that's better. I hope I didn't mute the audio entirely, because it barely seems like it was playing. But is that better? Yeah, I figured that it was like mad quiet because I didn't see it moving at all. But like I didn't put it down all the way. I also have to be like mad careful about playing it in the what is it? Well, I have to be very careful about playing the stream to actually hear it, because then it'll like double and I don't want that. What's up, Omega? But now I'm assuming that the audio is fine. I've been doing good. Been playing a couple more games recently. Like my main goal right now is to just try and play as many games as possible. That way I don't have to like worry too much about having to actually play some of the games while I'm at college. What is the music like still too quiet? I might just put that full volume there. Let me try increasing my mic volume and hopefully that'll do something. But like, how many games do I have in terms of like recorded games now? I think at least 3. And like I'm still recording a 4th one currently. But yeah, you can suggest a game. I actually need to make sure I post that I'm doing stuff on Facebook too, because like surprisingly I do have a few people that like follow the Facebook page. Also, I'm hoping that you can't hear like the garbage truck that's moving outside right now, because I'm right next to my window and there's not really much I can do about that. Free running? I actually never heard of this. Let me try and look at that. It looks like a interesting parkour game, or type game anyways. Thanks, Joey, for the appreciation, but I think it's actually time that we, like, started going over the games, and we're actually going to be going, like, in order of when I release the videos. So we're starting, well, quote unquote, starting with The Last Airbender, but like I also included it in last year's tier list because I was just like, well, it's just there anyways, might as well include it. So I'm actually going to try and see what the last one I did was, or where I put it there. Anyways, that's not the right thing. We need 2020's, if I can find that. Okay, I guess we're just gonna look at the PSD for it. Hopefully I didn't delete everything. Let me do it that way. Oh wait, I probably shouldn't place it. I should probably open it. There we go. So, for that one, I placed it in D tier. So I guess it's just gonna go back there. Because honestly, not really much of a reason to change the opinion there. Did you make it in time? Well, we are like just starting. And the first game I put on is basically one of the games that I had on for last year. What do you think is the worst Nickelodeon game? I haven't played that many Nickelodeon games, to be honest. So, like, my judgment of what is, like, one of the worst ones is actually, like, kind of difficult. I guess iCarly counts, because that is a Nickelodeon thing. So, yeah, iCarly. Why is this not... Okay, I guess for some reason, like, 2 minutes of this video is just no music. Yeah, I'm hoping to review Punch Time Explosion this year. Especially with how, what is it? Nick All-Star Brawl did. Yeah, I can imagine that there are some really bad Nickelodeon games. Just like with, a lot of other companies as well. But now, let's move on to Nerf, In-Strike, Elite. And also I should probably have stuff up here for like notes and stuff. And that should be a lot smaller than that. That should be good enough. So, honestly, this game was like much better than the first one. This is the Canada theme from Sly 2, but in terms of like gameplay overall, it's much better than the first one. The first one was, oh my goodness, it was so bad. I think I actually put in like F tier, if not E, because that game's abysmal. Story cliffhanger, which is really bad. Because I think it was banking on getting a third game, but then a third game didn't happen, so yikes. Thanks Gaming Trogue? I think that's how your name's pronounced. I'm just looking at it and that seems right. Oh yeah, I didn't have the, what is it? The thing. Because on YouTube, you have to do this really weird process in order to do it, and it's super annoying. But yeah, this is what I would normally have for it, but it's a little bit of a process to try and get the YouTube side of it working. Like, oh my goodness. Like, I think if I did it this way, let me try and get it set up. So, if I did this, and then just copied that, and pasted it. Okay, so now that's down there. So I think... maybe. I can't tell. Might have just deleted itself, but whatever. Alright, so again, gameplay was much better overall, but the story cliffhanger is really bad. It's really dumb. Teammates basically don't help, so they're kind of just super mid. That's kind of loud in my ears. Okay, it's gonna suck having to like do that every time. T Rouge. Okay. I'll have to try and remember that, because that's a unique way of doing that. Is that spelled the... Okay, it is spelled that way. It's just that the R isn't capitalized. That's what's throwing me off with that. But anyways. This is The Woods from the Over the Hedge game. I have a few license-based games in here. Well, songs in here too. But again, I don't have that many, so I definitely need to add more to it. The customization was really good overall, but I do feel like the experience of the experience of this game was like a very big surprise, honestly, because like I was expecting to go into this game and not enjoy it at all, but I actually did end up enjoying it quite a bit. So I'd say that this is probably like a B minus, maybe a C plus. Test what? But yeah, it doesn't look like the whole chat thing worked, so I'm just gonna put that back there. Because I definitely forgot how to do it on the YouTube side. On Twitch, it's like significantly easier, but unfortunately I can't really do that. But now we have Bakugan, Battle Brawlers, Defender of the Core. Or I guess it's just Bakugan, Defenders of the Core. I forget which, but regardless. First negative, oh my goodness, story mode is so annoying. I honestly did not like story mode throughout like 90% of the playthrough. Turn that down a little bit, because that song's way louder. Bakugan. But, what is it? Gameplay is actually pretty good, but like, oh my goodness, considering I was playing story mode most of the time, that just made gameplay really hard to actually be fun. I'm just gonna put a playlist with all the songs I currently have in there, so there you go, you can look at that. Also, yes, Clash of Ninja, super good OST. But yeah, gameplay was actually good. Presentation, it's still good, but I feel like the first game does do a better job with it in terms of music, in terms of character models and everything. And I'm having to try and go off of a lot of stuff off the top of my head. Oh right, stealth. Stealth was absolutely terrible. That's not how stealth is spelled. Well, like, is it? I'm forgetting how to spell stealth. Anyways. But yeah, the stealth elements of this game was like so unneeded. It basically did like nothing. But this is either like a C or a D. Like, I can't imagine it going any higher than either of those. So, the thing is, I have to take the games as a whole. If I could take out, like, the story, honestly, it could probably go up to here. But, like, because of that, it has to go down to, like, C or D. Just because of, like, the story mode on its own. Let's put it at C. Also, I don't know if I said this earlier, but like I completely forgot that I did The Last Airbender earlier this year. Like that, I guess 2021 was just a super slow year because I just completely forgot that what is it? That was done that year, and I'm surprised that I did, because like I remember like setting up the tier list and everything, and then I was looking at when I released all the videos, and like The Last Airbender was 11 months ago, which would be January basically. So I was like, oh, that's weird. I don't remember that being here, but whatever. The first one on the Wii was goated. Just make sure you have friends to play with. The first game's I just It's just as I got older, it just wasn't as like good as I remembered it being. Oh boy, Madagascar carts. Racing games for license-based stuff is really bad. So, a plus I will give is that the mechanics. That's not how that's spelled. Well, actually, yeah, it's like that. The mechanics of the game is actually like pretty good. Like the whole drift system, I like that, and the stunt mechanic is actually like pretty good. But the physics, the physics are bad, and then the items are atrocious, which completely negate that. Well, I wouldn't say completely negate it, but like a fair amount of this is kind of lost when you have to deal with these a lot more often. And then I will admit the alternate game modes, the alternate game modes are like really good, but like they're kind of the best parts about the game instead of the base game. Madagascar, they could have done that, but also, hey, Common Writer. Yeah, multiple people are thinking Madagascar's. But yeah, just so much stuff makes playing the game so annoying because, oh my goodness, I remember having to deal with a lot of the item stuff because of how easy it is that you can just get chain spammed by the AI. And honestly, just throwing items and just hitting random stuff happened way more often than it should have. So, my goodness, that's the wrong thing. If this is either gonna go in E or D. Well, nah, D, because I thought of DreamWorks cards. This is going in D. But while I'm doing this, I should probably try and get more songs in here, because I know for a fact that I'm gonna run out of songs. Because I only have 20 songs in here, and that's not a lot at all. It is a soft spot in you. It's how you met your best friend, but yeah, it's understandable. Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. If you still enjoy the games that I have up here and I don't, I'm not going to hold that against you. Well, for the most part, it depends on the game, actually. There are definitely some games where I'm like, you probably shouldn't be enjoying this. Like Dragon Ball Z Sagas. There are some people that will just defend anime games to no end, and I don't understand it. Like, I don't know how you can look at Sagas and think that that's a good game in the current year. Like, I remember when I was a kid and I thought that that game was good. That game's not good. That game is very bad. Like, do not be playing that game in 2022. I need to say that now. But also, Happy New Year, because I don't think I ever said that to you guys. You've been thinking that for longer than I have, maybe. I'm going to assume you're talking about Sagas, because I can't remember everything. Seeing the thumbnails on the tier list, you thought, ranking the review, that does make sense. That is a little bit more confusing, but yeah, I'm not really ranking the videos, though it can definitely come off that way. But yeah, Madagascar cards is staying there. Yes, August is trash. Good man. Thank you, T-Hero. Do I prefer Shonen Jump, Shonen Magazine, or Shonen Sunday? I'm not that much of a religious watcher, so if anything, I'm gonna say Shonen Jump, because I literally never heard of the other two things. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to Ben 10, The Rise of Hex. So, This game is... Okay, look, it's shovelware. It's pretty much shovelware. There's no way of, like, getting around that. So, of course, it's going to be a lot worse than pretty much every other Ben 10 game. So, like, are there really any real positives? I mean, switching between aliens is actually, like, pretty fast. Like, I think it's actually the fastest in the series, and I honestly want more of that, but, like, I think literally every other aspect is not good. The presentation's, like, pretty eh. I guess that would mean that I am a secular watcher. Space thing. But yeah, I don't really watch anime, like, that much. If anything, I might start doing that more this year. I need to watch Naruto Shippuden, because I haven't done that. It supports 4:3 full screen. Yeah, shovelware being shovelware is unfortunately, like, just in general a bad thing. I don't remember there being any good shovelware, honestly. That has series like Fairy Tail, Rave Master, Eden Zero, Fire Force, and Seven Deadly Sins. I've heard Eden Zero and Fire Force are good. I can't tell if Fire Force is, like, actually, like, a meme that is bad, or if it's actually bad, because I know, like, most of my friends say it's bad, but then everyone also watches it, so it's, like, super weird. Seven Deadly Sins, I think that started out good, and then as it went on, it got bad. So, that's, you know. But, right now, like, in terms of the anime I've watched Naruto Part 1, I've watched Kill la Kill, Steins Gate, and Steins Gate Zero. Trying to remember anything else. I swear I've watched another anime recently, but I'm forgetting what it was. Oh, JoJo. I don't know why I forgot about JoJo. JoJo's probably my favorite anime right now. And yes, Bakugan is in C tier, because I was thinking of putting it lower, if I'm being honest. Eden or Aiden, I don't know. It could be pronounced either way, but I don't know. But yeah, overall, Rise of Hex, you are going to go into E. It'll be the first E of the list. And honestly, I don't know if we'll get that many, like, S tiers. I think we might get, like, 1 or 2, which isn't too much. But now, Teen Titans. So, when it came to Teen Titans, I remember at the end of the review, I said that, like, this is basically the essence of the Teen Titans. But that was mainly because I'm like, I don't know if I can call this game good or bad. Like... But yeah, I was mainly just like, I don't know if this is good or bad, but it's the essence of the Teen Titans, so I'll just say that. But now that I'm here, I'm like, I actually have to decide on something. So... honestly, multiplayer is kind of... Well, the multiplayer, game mode is not that great. The story mode is actually, like, pretty good. And gameplay... I feel like gameplay has its ups and downs, but it's also entirely dependent on, like, how many people you're playing with. Because, again, 1 through 4... every single one of those gives a completely different experience. So it's, like, kind of hard to judge it, because I have to judge it from multiple perspectives, and I can't entirely do that, because a fair amount of the story mode I went through by myself. Some of it I went through with my brother, and then I could only do the multiplayer stuff with online friends for, like, a short amount of time. So there wasn't really much I could do about that. Have you played PK Out of the Shadows? I have, like, seen it before, but I haven't, like, done too much with it. Hey, thanks, Raymond Otero? It's either Otero or Otero, but regardless, thank you, especially for sharing out the videos. That stuff is really, really important. I'd say the presentation's actually like really good. Animation wise, it's really good, especially art style and the colors. The music's also very, very nice. But I'd say it's probably like a B minus, but like again, it's super dependent on how many people you're playing with, because otherwise it's like single player. I'd say single player and maybe 4 players like here. But if you have I'm pressing the wrong key. But if you are like 2 or 3, it's probably like a B. I pronounced it right the first time. Okay, it's Otiro. Really? That's kind of surprising, Omega. That Teen Titans on Xbox is one of the rarest original Xbox games. Okay, Finding Nemo. I was expecting to go into this game liking it more, but like, nah. For one, this game's mad hard. That I didn't mean for that to be in caps, but that makes it funnier. But yeah, that game is mad hard for like no reason. And then the puzzles, I think like 90% of the puzzles were like the what is it, the block shifting puzzles. I don't know why like most of them are just that, because they're all quote unquote solved the same way because they are literally the same puzzle. I don't know why it has such an obsession with that one specific puzzle type. I don't get it. Shonen Sunday, on the other hand, has Inuyasha, Ranma, 1/2, Zatch Bell, Flame, or Rekka. Okay, the only one I've heard of is Inuyasha, and I think maybe Zatch Bell. I think I've heard that out of like... I think I've heard that in like a discussion like once, but I don't really remember if I heard that or not. Nemo's, this is Souls games involving fish. I need to change some of these, but what about to give as a positive? I say the soundtrack is actually pretty good. I did expect it to be better though, because I think honestly, like one of the first songs that you hear is like the best song in the entire game. But there are some other good songs too. Actually, speaking of, I could try and put some of those songs into this playlist. Hey, now we got Traverse Town. Let's go. Good song. I think it's this. So I'm gonna put it in one of my playlists. And hope that's the right one. And in case it's not, I'm gonna put some of these other ones in here too. Because those are also good. Glad I didn't suffer through the GameCube version. Yeah, I've never... Because, like, when I was going through the game, I had just conveniently had the PS2 version. But, like, everyone was pointing out how the other versions were so much worse. And I was like, oh my goodness. Because that's definitely one thing that, like, especially Finding Nemo specifically made me realize. Well, Finding Nemo and Toy Story 3 specifically made me realize that the version that you play matters so much. Because, like, well, it can matter a lot. Like, I didn't think it would matter as much until I started, like, getting really deep into doing these. Because, oh my goodness, some versions are, like, completely different. But, that's the wrong thing. Finding Nemo, in comparison to, like, some of these other games, it's probably, like, a C-. But, like, for right now, I'm just putting it here. Meet the Robinsons. Okay, so I was actually like mad surprised that this game was still as good as I remember it being. Because like, gameplay is very good, aside from like one or two things. Soundtrack is really good. I probably didn't need to delete that now that I think about it. Story mode's actually, well, I say story mode as if the entire game's not story mode, but story's actually, it's good, but it's also kind of wonky because of like, I think I pointed out in the video that it's like, okay, this literally does not make sense unless like something happens. Yeah, the frame rates and load times were abysmal. Yes, I have heard of Multiverses. I've tried it out a little bit, and I do plan on reviewing that when it comes out, because apparently Nick All-Star Brawl did really good. By the way, that got 10K views in like, when did that video come out? It was like mid-October, kind of. So in about 3 months, which is insane, because that normally never happens for my channel. So if anything, that's probably like the closest thing I've had to a like legitimate blow up video. The thing that you found out about Pixar games during researching them for your videos, each version was completely different from each other, like Ratatouille. I've heard Ratatouille on, I think it's PS2 is good, but then on PS3 it's really bad, which is surprising, because like whenever it came to doing videos, I always thought that like getting the furthest game in like a console generation, well, the version that's furthest in a console generation was always like better, and I think for the most part that tends to be true, but then there's actually some times where it's not. I think Ratatouille was one of those examples, and sometimes when you're just in that era, like PS2, GameCube, and Xbox original, I almost said one, era, like that matters a lot. But Meet the Robinsons was like very, very good. Like I either would put it A or maybe even like S. Honestly, in terms of like games for this year, I'd say this is definitely like one of my favorites to have like gone through. Goodness, this is really difficult. I do remember some of the power-ups like not mattering as much, but it's not like a majority of them didn't. I would, you know what? Yeah, S. We're putting it in this. Between Spike Chunsoft, Cyber Connect 2, and Dimps, who's the best at making anime games? Even in terms of that, I haven't played like too many recent anime games either. Like the most recent one I played is Dragon Ball FighterZ, and that's not by any of them. Well, I've also played Danganronpa, which is by Spike Chunsoft, so that's kind of cheating, but then there's JoJo Eyes of Heaven, which is pretty good. I don't know, it's kind of hard to judge. Okay, yeah, I definitely have to keep that in mind for Ratatouille then. Oh, I forgot I had an Undertale song in here. Ratatouille for PS2 has 16:9, and PS4, not PS4, PS3 has 4:3. Huh. Why did games like Ratatouille get ported to everything ever at the time? Yeah, a lot of stuff tends to just get ported to like everything, which I mean isn't really, from like a, I guess, quote unquote business standpoint, that's not too bad, but at the same time, it's like you have to adjust for multiple platforms, and that's really important and can really impact how development is made. Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs. Okay, so half the characters are good. We got Sid, Scrat. I think, yeah, that's how that's spelled. Yeah, that is how that's spelled. And then Buck. Those are good. But then you have Manny and Diego, and those two are like almost non-existent in the game. They don't matter. And it's so infuriating that these two have like 5 minutes of screen time in terms of gameplay, where they could have so much more. Because, like, realistically, the first half of the game, you're playing as Sid for the most part, and then the second half, you're playing as Buck. With some interludes of Scrat and Scratay, as I call her. PS3 Ratatouille is / was on PS Now. Also, PS Now was abysmal, so... But yeah, like, in terms... Just presentation, it's literally the best in the series so far, which is kind of unfair to say because it's the furthest in terms of console generations. Because the one before that was on GameCube and PS2, I think, if I remember that correctly. But then this is on PS3 and Xbox 360, and was it on Wii? I forget if it was on Wii or not, but is the Ice Age logo squished? I don't think it is. I think I got that from Google, so I'm hoping it's not squished, but regardless, it's the way it is now, so there's not much I could really do about that. But and then the minigames. The minigames are kind of they're just kind of there. You don't really need to do them, but they're kind of there. You find it funny that Cars got ported to every console at the time, except PS3. Ratatouille got ported to everything that Cars was on, including the PS3. Yeah, that can happen sometimes. But from what I remember, Cars is actually like a pretty good game. Like, this is from Final Fantasy 13. It is, what song is it? The Sunleth Waterscape. Okay. I'll still be able to put Ice Age in A though, because like again, the really strong points do outweigh the bad points. But now we have iCarly, so I'm just gonna change that to like a minus, and the mini games still stay at a minus. And honestly, that's about all I really need to say. F. There's not really much else that I can really say. I'll say that the story is like pretty consistent to like an iCarly episode, but like outside of that, this game is like really bad. Yeah, although at least with Cars, it's the same game on all systems. You have a good one, T-Rogue. Or Rouge, that's how it is, T-Rouge. You Only Count Lightning Returns is a phenomenal game. I personally like 13-2 the best. I haven't played Lightning Returns, so I should probably do that at some point, but 13-2 was a really good game for me. Oh boy. The next game. DreamWorks Superstar Carts. This is... Oh boy. Okay. So, where Madagascar carts had like bad items and good physics, the physics were actually like pretty good. They actually made sense and the items weren't too bad. But then the mechanics were terrible. The mechanics were actually abysmal and made everything else just non-existent. Because I don't know how they managed to have the star system be broken in every way. Like, Alex and Fiona's just straight up don't function sometimes. Who was it? Marty. Literally, you almost can't get anything off of it. But then Donkey literally just exists and he wins. Like, it's so bad. Track design. I'd say the track design is actually, like, pretty alright. It's just, like, the moon placements are super weird. Like, sometimes it's like, okay, they're actually like pretty good and they teach you about the map and you actually explore them. But then other times it's like you have to go so far out of your way to get them and they don't provide any benefit. And like, as far as I know, collecting them doesn't really do anything outside of like getting a trophy. So if you're not going for that, then you almost don't care. Music's alright. I think I actually prefer Madagascar Kart's music over Superstar Kart's. Oh, and the roster is actually, like, abysmal. Like, you have 4 series. I think it's 4. And, like, it's not even better than this. That only has 3 of them. And then, like, Shrek, was it Smash and Crash Racing has the highest roster out of those 3 games, and it only has 1 franchise. I don't know how that managed to happen. But yeah, you're going in E, like, without a doubt. I don't know. Space Jam. Oh boy. The mini games, well, yeah, mini games are pretty good. I'd say one of them's kind of mid, but overall they're good. But then, the basketball part of the basketball game is not good. Also, there's no music. I don't know why that's a thing, but there's just no music for when you play basketball, which makes that even worse. Why is that a thing, that there's no music at all? Honestly, that... And, like, there's also barely a story. I cannot type on this keyboard. But yeah, there's barely a story at all. So, you kind of just have to assume that it's based off of the movie, but... you can't entirely say that for sure. At least it was an ASMR game before ASMR. I mean, I suppose. But, like, when I'm going into this as, like, a video game, I'm expecting music for, like, the most part. So, yeah, this is either an F or an E. Because, like, it's pretty close to being F. I'd put it above iCarly, though, but... At least the sprite work is good and is super expressive. So there is that. Yeah, I'll keep it in F. Okay, SpongeBob Creatures from the Krusty Krab. Again, this is another game where it's like the version matters so much because, oh my goodness, motion controls on this do not feel good. I literally would have to swap arms at some point because, oh my goodness, it was so dysfunctional. But like on PS2, that's not a problem. But the PS2 version, or GameCube version, I guess, they're also the same thing. They don't have some of the stuff that the Wii version has. Like, the Wii version, what is it? The car segments are faster than in the PS2 version, which is supposedly supposed to make it easier. I don't fully understand that, but yeah, the Wii version has faster cars. I think the space or flying segments, like, they actually have a reticle on the Wii version, but then the PS2 version doesn't. I think it's that way. It might be the other way around. Yeah, I remember the GameCube version also has some weird texturing too. I think Plankton, when he's gigantic, is a completely different color for some reason. What's up, Noah? Should have invited Nose on this stream just for ranking this specific game. I think he enjoyed the game more than I did. Because, like, it's also really unfortunate that I reviewed the movie game and Battle for Bikini Bottom before this. Because, like, when you've played the 2 best games already, every other game just pales in comparison. Because I'm constantly comparing those games, well, any other SpongeBob game, to the movie and Battle for Bikini Bottom. Like, these other games just cannot compare to them. And it's not even like this game is that bad. If anything, I'd probably put it in, like, C. Which admittedly isn't even, like, too bad. But the other 2 games are, like, at S. they're an S at absolute best and like an A at worst. Like there's no comparison. There's no comparison to the two. And like right now, well, I say right now, but I've already like gathered the footage for Truth or Square because I'm planning on doing that at around March. And like that game is also like kind of here-ish too. Like most of the SpongeBob games are like what is it? Maybe C or lower. But like then you have two really good games and then I think maybe like one A tier game. I guess they wanted to make Space Jam like real basketball. You don't hear music while watching a basketball match, do you? I mean, yeah, but that's also not... At the same time, you have to throw a little bit of reality out the window when you're playing a video game. And also, it has Looney Tunes characters. That doesn't mean as much. Have I ever considered doing a review for Steven Universe Save the Light? I remember... Is that a... I think that's a PS4 game, right? That or some mobile game. I forget which. Which version of Truth or Square am I doing? I'm doing the Xbox 360 version. I do not know that the PSP version actually has 2 levels that were cut out. You were making a joke. Well, yeah, but still. But yeah, it really sucks for SpongeBob games because I'm like, if I hadn't played, what is it, Battle for Bikini Bottom in the movie game, this would probably be like here. But because I have and I can constantly compare them, it's like here. So next up, we've got, what is it? Hercules action game or action Gamble because I can't type. So in terms of this, the sprite work is actually like really good. When I see other people's videos, the sprite work looks better, but it's weird. It might just be a matter of like, what is it? How I'm playing it specifically because when it came to the version I was playing, I played the Steam version, so that might have something to do with it, but who knows. Music's also really good. But like this game is very similar to Tarzan, well, the Tarzan game. Like I already mentioned that before, but it's just so weird that this game is so ridiculously similar to Tarzan, well, the Tarzan game. Like it's not even funny how similar it is. In terms of like pretty much everything, in terms of the story, gameplay, the sprite work. Well, Tarzan didn't have sprite work, never mind. But for the most part, they're like really similar with how I feel about the two games. I don't remember where I put Tarzan though, because I do like that. Well, whoops, I do like this game more than the Tarzan one, and I imagine that I put Tarzan in C, maybe D. But I'd say I'd put Hercules at like a low B. Like a low B, high C. Have I seen Cobra Kai? No, I have not. I do know that some of my friends are like pretty religious watchers of it, and they say that it's like really, really good. Alright, Ben 10 Galactic Racing. The best racing game that I've covered on the channel, unfortunately, because that's not honestly that good of a thing. But like, the thing that boosts this game up above like so many other ones is that it functions. Because like, with every other racing game, there's been something drastically wrong with like, for example, Shrek Smash and Crash Racing. Everything was fine, but the physics were terrible. For Madagascar cards, the physics and the items were terrible. And then DreamWorks Superstar cards, the mechanics were terrible. But like Ben 10 Galactic Racing, all of that actually works. But then the track design suffers. Like, I feel like this game has probably the worst track design. Actually, I'd say it's either this or Shrek Smash and Crash Racing, kinda. But, like, I feel like the track design wouldn't even be that bad if the physics were better. I feel like the physics are, like, the main thing that makes the track design not as good there. But I feel like this game has the weakest track design, because a lot of, like, assets for tracks are reused. And then also the music's actually, like, pretty forgettable. So I'd say you're probably the closest thing to an A- that we can get right now. What Kingdom Hearts game do you think will come out this year? Your hopes are that a Kyrie game will come out aside from Melody and Memory. In terms of that, I'm not too sure. They could go like a fair amount of directions, honestly. Because they might do a little bit of extra development within the quote-unquote Kingdom Hearts universe before moving on to like Quadratum and stuff. Oh boy, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. This game. It sucks seeing what happened to this game, because a lot of the decisions that happened with this game that were negative were not like the development team's fault. A lot of it was Nickelodeon stuff. Like, what was it? I'm pretty sure the developers wanted to delay the game, but then Nickelodeon said no. And then in terms of alternate colors and stuff, the developers were perfectly fine with doing alternate like colors. But then Nickelodeon was like, all the alternate skins and stuff have to be like official. But then, and also they couldn't like make a story mode or anything like that either. But then like there was some mobile game that just let those developers do basically whatever they wanted in terms of costumes and text and stuff like that. And it's super unfair what happened in terms of this game, because it could be so much better. And unfortunately they had to have an indie developer work on this game, because like the game before this was Slap City, and going from that to like a big, like a game with like a bigger budget is not easy. Like it's a very difficult thing to just have to change over to. Have I ever considered doing a Lego Harry Potter, an original Harry Potter video game review? If I'm doing a Lego game, the first one I'd do is Lego Batman, because I grew up with that one. But I suppose at some point I'd have to watch the Harry Potter movies first, but, or at least in terms of like whatever movie is associated with whatever game. But aside from that, again, the first Lego movie I'd do, not Lego movie, Lego game I would do was Lego Batman. At this point, I still don't think it'll have like a story, but I do hope it does get voice acting one day, because like, my goodness, this game, it got screwed over pretty hard. Like, personally, it's a B, but like I see people trash on the game all the time, and it's normally for the same reasons, like no voice acting. Like no voice acting was a major kill for people. But like I play Rivals of Aether and there's no voice acting in that. So it's just unfortunate. Unfortunate. Okay, Scooby-Doo First Frights. So I like this one better than Spooky Swamp, but it is like still pretty similar. I think it, again, is just a matter of preference on like the gameplay style, because like the level to level structure I feel works better, and then the costumes are kind of good and kind of bad, Because, like, sometimes they just straight up won't matter. It'll feel like you're doing the same stuff still. So, I'd probably put this at, like, C. I just can't pronounce stuff today. Honestly, that happens a lot. Even in terms of, like, recording stuff. Like, there's a lot of takes that are cut out from, having to do stuff. Mainly because I'm having to, like, do all this off the top of my head. Because I don't have any, like, script when it comes to this stuff. And also, I do talk kind of fast. So I think I talk more than I talk faster than I think. Look, I do need to add some more music. Hopefully I can find some more. Because this is from Finding Nemo. And, like, I recently put these in here. I guess I can put some in from Teen Titans. Oh, one of them. It's around there somewhere that I really wanted to put in. This one. That's actually a little impressive. In terms of what? Like the script stuff or like the editing for audio, I guess. Or I guess it could also be having to think of stuff off the top of my head. Because streaming is like not easy at all. The script. Oh yeah, the script. Scripting is sometimes fun. It can also be kind of weird because normally whenever it comes to scripts, like while I'm playing a game, I'll usually take like, I guess, small versions of notes on stuff that like I either like or don't like, stuff like that. And then I just expand on that more later as I like develop it. Do you like how this cool level has epic music? Yeah, again, like in terms of the Finding Nemo OST, I feel like the beginning has like the best music and then the rest of it just kind of couldn't compare. Oh, I just realized I could put Battle for Bikini Bottom music in here. The only unfortunate thing is that I think some of these have ads, which is annoying to have to deal with, but all of these should help me in terms of being able to just be able to talk. And then there's a few from the movie game I can put in too. Oh, okay. I never knew that. I couldn't save videos to a playlist that are like, well, videos that are listed as made for kids. I can't put into a playlist, which is odd. I actually never knew that. What's even more annoying is that it's just that one song that I can't put in, but whatever. All right. But now we're down to the last two games. We have Ants, which... Honestly, Ants isn't really, like, that bad of a game. Like, in terms of movement's actually really good. But then, like, so much stuff, like, just makes you do stop and go. And that stuff's really annoying. Oh, I probably have to refresh the playlist, because that was, like, the end of the thing. But then I put in all the additional music. Okay, cool. That wasn't an ad. But yeah, the nature of the game was very stop and go. Music is kind of a plus. Because again, it's mainly just a fault of like the era it was in rather than like the music itself actually being like really bad. Because I actually do like some of the songs. It's just kind of... So honestly, I put this at like a high D to like C minus. So I'd put it above The Last Airbender, and I'll be able to adjust all this later. So I can make this more concrete. But then finally, we have JoJo Eyes of Heaven. And offline, this game's very good. Like, I think if the offline stuff was like super, super polished and also the only thing I was talking about, I'd argue that this could actually kind of be an S tier game. But then, like, you have the online stuff, and that stuff's, like, mad annoying. Like, offline good, and then online bad. But then, also, apparently, in terms of offline, there's no, like, what is it? Couch co-op or multiplayer. Like, there's no local stuff. Like, it's just a single-player game. Offline, anyways. So, like... if you enjoy single player experiences, then you'd really enjoy this game. But like otherwise, this game online is probably like a C. Especially with the fact that there's like no training mode. And then some characters can't be used in a story mode. So you're kind of forced to just learn them on the fly. So... again, getting everything as a whole, I kind of wish I could put this game as an S, but it's going to go in A. So now I need to actually adjust stuff so that they're in a more fitting order. So that'll stay up there because that's the only S. But I'll say move this over. And then Ice Age and Ben 10 move over to the right. And I think that's good for A tier. What order do I want this in? I'll put Nick here. And then... yeah, Teen Titans can stay where it is. And... Nerf moves down. And where's Hercules? There it is. And Hercules moves over to here. I need to move Teen Titans a little bit more. And now I need to move Nerf a little bit more. There we go. Nah, I think I do need to adjust C as well. Because again, it all depends on like the control scheme that you have, or I guess which version you play on. Because if you play on the Wii version, then the motion controls are terrible. But then the Wii version also has stuff that the other versions don't, which are more beneficial. Version differences are always annoying. I think this might actually be like a pretty difficult place for like the next 3 games. Honestly, I feel kind of similar about each game. Like, I can't really put one over the other. Like, not fully. I guess I'll put Finding Nemo. There we go. Yeah, I'll say Finding Nemo first, and then Bakugan, and then Scooby-Doo. Okay, D tier. Ants is going above that. I'd say Ants is probably like the best game out of those 3. And then move you here, probably. In terms of E tier, I feel like... well, let's just do F tier, because F tier is easy. Just switch those around. But in terms of E, I'm not too sure which to actually put higher. Because, like, Superstar Cards was, like, a lot more of a disappointment than Rise of Hex was. But, like, I wouldn't really say I'd play Rise of Hex over Superstar Cards. I guess Superstar Cards also has more to offer, so we'll put Superstar Cards over it. If I can find it in here. That's Madagascar Cards. There we go. And then Rise of Hex. There we go. So, in terms of this whole tier list, I'd say that is the finalization of that. So we got our order here. We have Meet the Robinsons for basically the only first place game, which is very different from last year because we had 3 games. Well, I say last year, but 2020 where we had 3 S tier games. Like I had a lot more B and C tier games than this year. Honestly, overall, I think a lot of the games were. Wow, I actually did put Hercules like right above Tarzan here. That's kind of funny. But in terms of comparison to the year before, like I played a lot more mid games than like really good ones, which is pretty unfortunate. Maybe that will change with this game. I say that, but like 2 of the first games I'm playing, one of them is really bad, and then the other one's like kind of mid. So, let me try and compare it to 2019's as well. Well, I say 2019, but 2019 plus 2018. Okay. Okay, I also played a lot more games in 2019, so just in general. So 2019 was actually like pretty stacked across the board though. Like there was almost an even amount of games in every tier. And then in 2020, a lot more games were like in the higher end. And then for 2021, a lot of games were in like the lower end. I forget, is this also... Okay, no, this is not including games with 2018. I think this one is. Does that have less games? This definitely has less games. So that's odd, but whatever. I'll have a spectacular gaming year at 4,037. One could only hope. But it's actually like pretty interesting looking at the amount of games as like I went on. I think I did more games in 2021 than 2020. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, I definitely did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, I did a lot more in 2021 than 2020. So that's also a major factor for that as well. Oh, and also I'm including that game there too. So it's not even 14, it's 13 for that year. So yeah, that's actually kind of a yikes. 2020 was very bad. I'm also trying to figure out what other games I want to like try and do, because I mean I did Madagascar cards because it was another Madagascar game, but I know I need to do Madagascar 3 this year at some point. Did I have a... No, I did not have a Shrek game for 2021, but I am doing a Shrek game very soon, so that's to make up for that. But I think I had a couple Disney games here because I had this, which is technically Pixar, but whatever. Disney. Oh, I guess I only did 2. That's, well, no, 3. Meet the Robinsons. And then this year I had 1. We'll count Kingdom Hearts 2. Okay, only 2 for that year. And then this is kind of cheating, but 1. That's a game, but also Kingdom Hearts 2. Well, not a game. This is based off a show, but still Disney. 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, I did a lot in 2019. Which Shrek game? I'm doing, what is it? Shrek Treasure Hunt, which is a PS1 game. In terms of recent games, I did, what is it, 1, 2 that year. Yeah, I think that's it. Actually, no, 3. I did 3. That one's bad, but still, I did 3 recent games that year. I did that, so that's 3 technically because of Rehydrated there. Oh yeah, and then one of these videos was based off of like, what is it? The browser games. And then in terms of recent games, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, and I think that was it actually. Unless you kind of want to count JoJo, but that wasn't like too recent, like a release that year type of game. Yeah, I was assuming that that was going to be the reaction to somebody. But thankfully that review is also going to be short, because like that game is short in general. So I can also add like lore to that, because I want to make sure that I actually continue that. Oh, it's been I didn't think it was that long since I did Monsters Inc. Scream Arena. I did that in 2019. Because, like, another game I'm doing soon is Monsters Inc. Well, on PS2, I should probably specify. But, yeah, I'm doing that game pretty soon, too. But it's only, I say only, but it's almost been, like, what, 3 years since that game. That's very surprising, honestly. But yeah, here's the tier list. I'll make sure to save it and post it later. But that's the tier list for 2021. And hopefully 2022 will look not like this entirely, but I just want more good games. I want to have more good games than mid and bad ones. Like, if anything, I'd like it to be as full as this, but that probably won't happen. Like, all things considered, this is actually, like, pretty good in comparison to this. Because this is, I think, only 12. If we're talking about, like, just full-blown games, or this was based off of browser games. And then this one was taken from 2021. So, this only had 12 games in it. And then this had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Almost 20. Like, that's a lot more comparison. So, if anything, I'd like to have this many, but it'll probably look closer to this. But hopefully the ratio of games is, like, leaning heavier on this side than this side. Have I tried Digimon Rumble Arena? No, I have not. Shrek Forever After? I know at some point that I will, but I'm probably going to do, Shrek Super Slam first, and then I can do that. Well, Actually, I could do it in either order, because it's not like those two games are, like, really connected like that. But I know Super Slam would take longer to do, because fighting games in general just take longer to record, because I'm just like, how much footage is enough footage? Because I never really know. But with that, I'm probably going to end stream here. Because now we've finished the tier list. There's not really much else to really do. But again, Shrek Treasure Hunt will be out soon enough. Because again, that video is short. So it's just a matter of finishing up the script for that. Because how many sections do I have? I have the presentation part, the final verdict part, and actually like the beginning of the review to do. Which honestly, if I really put my effort into it, that could be done tonight. And then I could have it voice. Well, maybe. I had to give my voice a rest though, because after talking in a stream for like, what? I think over an hour. It's not as easy. Fighting games have so much happening at once. Yeah, that's also another thing. It's hard to focus on one fighting game when there's like 8 of them. But yeah, I'll be ending off stream here. So, hope to see you guys in all the premieres for upcoming videos. But, thanks for coming out to the stream, by the way, for the tier list. And hopefully I can also do more streams for, actually looking back in previous reviews. Because I remember saying that I wanted to do that, and it seemed like people wanted to do that too, so. But yeah, take care, guys.